Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So I wanted to take a quick video and do some go over some of the updates that have happened to some of the trees that we've already discussed. So we've talked about Marksmanship Hunter and all the Druid trees. I just wanted to touch on two of them in this video in particular. That is the Hunter class and Marksmanship Tree and the Guardian Druid tree, because some updates have happened to each of the trees back as alpha now has been moving forward. Now I'm not currently in alpha, so I haven't been able to play around with these talents personally, but you can obviously look at the changes and see what you can get out of each of these. So we'll start off with Guardian Druid, and then we'll move over to the Hunter and Marksmanship tree in particular. So for the Druid class tree, nothing has changed, which for the feral side of the tree is big sad, but for everything else, I think for the most part, it's okay. So what I'm going to do is just look at a sort of Mythic Plus focused build for Guardian Druid. That's going to be the choice here, and I'll talk about what raid options that we have. So of course, you're going to grab Swipe, Killer Instinct, Iron Fur, Improved Bark Skin, and Improved Frenzy Regeneration. Now they did drop this down to 1 point, so a minor change, but no talent is change placed. Need 1 more point, so you can either go Boomboxing with Starfire, or you just grab Rejuvenation, which is going to be my choice because you want to remove Corruption, just for you a little bit of utility in Mythic Plus. Of course, you grab Skull Bash, you'll grab Thick Hide, and you'll grab Wild Charge into Soothe, into Stampeding Roar. I think all of those are good options. And then you want to grab the new Resto passive, as it's called right now, which gives you healing taken increased by 6%, which we always want. And then you're going to grab Wild Growth because we want to come down here and grab this. Or you can do this, but I think it's going to not be usable in bear form, so that makes it a little bit of a pain. So like you're kind of just getting a wasted talent point here either way, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. Then you're going to grab Ursoc's Endurance, because getting, 5300 absorb every, minute? Not bad. We're going to grab Incap Roar because we need it. We're going to grab Lucaris Renewal. We're going to skip Heart of the Wild for now. We're going to grab Ursol's 2 points into Well-Honed Instincts. And that gives us 3 points basically left to spend. So for me, I'm thinking we take cooldown reduction on Stampeding Roar, and then we grab Heart of the Wild, I guess. So you get extra 30% healing on resto spells. They did update the tooltip on this, thankfully. So more magic damage. The Star Search is instant for balance. Feral gets a 30% physical damage increase, 20% additional stamina in bear form, and basically allows all of the bear form stuff that you get. It's Guardian Druid, and Resto gets increased healing costs. I'm going to skip this, so you basically take this final point and put it wherever you want. Heart of the Wild is probably going to be the best general choice, but I'm going to stick it in Ursine Vigor to help with a little bit of on-pull problems that Guardian has historically had. So that's kind of the tree that I think I would spend it on. Actually, just spent 2 points there. I just don't think any of the capstone talents are going to be good. Innervate, if they design the seasonal affixes correctly that help with mana stuff, then you ideally don't need it. In a raid scenario, you'd grab Innervate in Nature's Vigil. You probably would trade out these 3 points for either Kitty Weaving points, or you grab points for Moonkin form. You probably wouldn't grab the Stampeding Roar cooldown, depending on how many Druids you have. And you probably would trade this, trade out this for Sunfire, something like that. Kind of in a raid build, you just basically, because you would be off tanking, you need to have a chance to shift out of form to do damage. You could probably just shift into Boomkin and grab Heart of the Wilds, so that you can do some good damage inside of your Moonkin form while you're off tanking. Over in the bear tree, they've changed a lot. So they separated the Moonfire talents, they moved some talents in, moved some talents out. They did a lot of changes here. So again, just looking at it, we're gonna grab Maw, Gore, Survival Instincts, Mangle, Ursine Adept, and then we'll go ahead and grab Brambles for Mythic Plus. Of course, we grab Berserk Ravage because it's going to be good. We'll grab Gory Fur because getting 25% cost off, so that'll be 34 rage versus 40. Always a good thing. And then here's where some of the changes start to come into play. So this first tier of tree has basically been left alone. Here's where the changes come in. So Layered Mane got moved into the center along with Reinforced Fur, which I am not a fan of personally. The Moonfire talents got moved out of right here and got moved to the outside of the tree, so you get 2% more damage reduction on Moonfire, so a small but noticeable. and then you get extra 20% damage and another target on Twin Moonfire, which is good because that allows you to open up Berserk Persistence without having to grab something like Layered Mane. Now this does give Layered Mane a 20% chance to not consume a charge of Frenzied Regen, but Frenzied Regen is still on the GCD right now, and as long as that's the case, Frenzied Regen's value, and it's like not consuming a charge and stuff, is always going to be lower. If Frenzied Regen gets pulled off the GCD, then this talent has a lot more value. I personally didn't want to see Frenzied Regen charge thing go into place. I wanted them to bring back the Azurite trait, which gave you agility for using Iron Fur as well. So you had like a 20% chance to gain like 1% agility, or a flat amount of agility, and on 2 stacks you would get double that. So I think that would be a better way to make Layered Mane way more valuable, because it helps offensively and it helps defensively. And kind of this middle of the tree right here, this row has, a defensive, and then offensive. So like it makes sense in that regard, but like I think this could have added real chance to be one of the most powerful talents in the tree for any content if they just added the agility back. For Mythic Plus, we will grab the Galactic Guardian, just because it's good. And of course, we're going to grab Berserk Persistence. Now, basically, at this choice, we have 12 points. We need to grab a few things. We're going to grab Innate Resolve, because Frenzied Regen healing and giving you a second charge, always a good thing. For Mythic Plus, you have some choices here. I'm going to grab Positive Outlook and Earth Warden into Unchecked Aggression. And then we're also going to grab Persistence. Now I need 2 more points, which means we have some choices here. We could grab the Layered Mane, or we could grab Tooth and Claw into a point in Vulnerable Flesh to make Maul a little bit better. The thing is I still don't see Maul being very useful in Mythic Plus situations. I'm going to go ahead and grab Layered Mane, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it. And that opens up the last tier, where we're going to grab Survival of the Fittest, Guardian of Elune, Blood Frenzy, Rage of the Sleeper. We have 5 points left to spend, which means we're spending 1, 2, Ursoc's Fury, Untamed, or Rend and Tear, because I don't think Untamed Savagery is all that good. It just makes damage and radius of thrash. Like if you overgear the content, that's fine. I just like Rend and Tear because it's giving you like 6% damage reduction and 6% more damage on targets with that. And then you have like 1 point left to spend, so you can put it in something utility wise, like a really like a decent slow at 50%, but it's only Mangle and Maul and not Thrash. Or you can grab like the second charge of Survival Instincts, or you can grab Front of the Pack. Like any of these will work. You can grab Reinforced Fur. I don't think it's very good. But I mean, like, these are all flex points. For Raid, you would take the points out of Layered Mane and put them into Tooth and Claw, and then put the 2 points in Vulnerable Flesh, because you will have an opportunity to use Maul more. If you decide not to go like boomboxing, you can just use like your empowered Mauls. And it also does work, for the 15% damage reduction for 60 seconds. I could even argue potentially using this in Mythic Plus, where if you get an empowered Maul, you just, instead of using Iron Fur, you use Maul, and you get that 15% damage reduction. And depending on what your rage is, you can use both. You can get an empowered Maul and use an Iron Fur as well, since Iron Fur is off the GCD. I see some real value for Tooth and Claw, so I'm going to put the last point there, just for the sake of it. So that's kind of like the new Guardian tree build that I see. It's a little bit more difficult to get 2 capstones. You basically are skipping out on Fury of Nature, because you don't get the stuff that you need here in order to grab it, which means you also miss out on Elune's Favored. These 2 talents to me are 2 talents that I'm really upset are where they are. I would have preferred Fury of Nature and Elune's Favored still be connected to Scintillating Moonlight and Twin Moonfire. To me, that's the biggest loss here. Granted, if you want to go down the middle and grab like Convoke or Incarn and, the same normal improved Convoke and Incarn, like, that's fine. I just don't see the middle of this tree ever being very good, considering you have Legacy of this, or Rage of the Sleeper, which, is a 1.5 minute cooldown, 25% DR for 10 seconds, reflecting damage back, immune to CC effects. Like, it just does a ton in one cooldown, and it's, an old artifact trait. It's just very, very good. And Rend and Tear is a flat 6% damage increase and 6% damage reduction on top of the 2% that you're getting here. So that's 8% damage reduction. You get Earth Warden, which, does a 30% damage reduction on the next auto attack. Like, there's just a lot of good DR stuff. Of course, you have Brambles, which is a little bit of offensive capability here. You know, you get 10% damage reduction while in bear form, so now you're up to like almost 16. You're talking, you know, in certain cases, you know, when you have cooldowns and stuff running, like you're talking 70% DR just for being in bear form with this talent setup. Like that is very good defensively. Little sad though that we lose out on the laser bear build with Fury of Nature and Loon's Favored being gone. I had, you know, possibility that you could go grab Vulnerable Flesh instead of reinforced, instead of Layered Main. Just depends on tuning, and I still want to see Layered Main give agility rather than the no consuming of a charge of Frenzied Regen. And Blizzard, for the love of God, please take hang on. Blizzard, take Frenzied Regen off the GCD. Thank you. All right, let's go talk about the Hunter tree now, because it has had some pretty big changes to it. So again, the top of the tree doesn't really change. You're still going to grab Kill Shot, Post Haste, Improved Kill Shot, Natural Mending, Strength Shot, Misdirection, Counter Shot. Come down here, you still grab Binding for the heck of it, Improved Trank, High Explosive Trap, because why not? Binding Shackles, because you kind of need it to get down here. And to grab Keen Eyesight. Let's see, we need 5 more points, so we're going to spend 3 here. And then, oh, they made this a 2 point instead of 3, so you get 6% movement point for 2 points, which is good. And then instead of grabbing Barrage in order to get Master Marksman, or Serpent Sting in order to get down to Explosive Shot, they opened up some paths here. So you can get Keen Eyesight, Master Marksman, into Explosive Shot, and you still have 4 points left to spend around the tree here. So you have some options here. So we can grab Death Chakram, because it's just going to be the best option on the table. And then I would say you probably grab Serpent Sting into Viper's Venom if they make it valuable, and then you can grab like basically like the last few points. Like you have 4 points here that are complete flex. Like you can grab Camo if you want, you can grab Concussive Shot for some stuff, and then Trailblazer could be useful for outdoor content or whatever the case may be. You can get Serpent Sting into one of these two. You can grab Barrage, which hopefully they tune to actually be good, because if it is, then, you know, I would consider choosing it. I just hate the fact that it's a giant ass 40-yard cone that pulls everything in the dungeon. So like I think they did some really good changes on this side of the Marksman tree. Still some interesting things over on the left side with more of the Beast Mastery Hunter stuff and survival stuff that I think needs maybe some tweaks and tunes, but you know, we'll talk about those in BM and SV videos. Now on this side of the tree, they made some good changes here. That they decluttered some of the tree, added some things around that make a little bit more logical sense, and they moved double tap up, like way up in the tree. They moved it here instead of down here on the bottom left, and added basically a new AoE talent, which I'm a big fan of. So for AoE purposes, they also moved Chimera Shot way up, and it has it replace Arcane Shot again. So again, big fan. They still don't have anything with Deadeye. They moved Legacy of the Windrunners up again for single target, but they still put Bursting Shot here. I think Bursting Shot should go here and have Chimera Shot go here, and then you have a line that just connects Quick Load with Bursting Shot. I think that would be better off for the tree as a whole. But let's look at the build here. So again, improved Arcane Shot, Precise Shots you're going to grab. Rapid Fire, they made it so that it automatically does one focus generating. So that makes it a little bit better for AoE purposes. But again, it's still potentially, depending on tuning, potentially could be skipped. For now, I'm going to take it. We're going to grab Killing Blow because big crit chance. Let's see. So now they have flat aim shot damage and crit chance on aim shot. Hunter's Knowledge you could potentially skip. Focused aim you're definitely going to take. Careful aim I think could be potentially skipped, because again, about 70% health is mainly on a boss fight thing. But we need something to get to multi-shot, which is what activates Trick Shot. So like Bullseye and Careful Aim are kind of in awkward positions now, but we're going to go ahead and grab Streamline because we need multi-shot and we need Volley. And I'm going to go ahead and say grab Surging Shots. We're going to grab Trick Shots, of course, into Salvo. And let's see, we need 2 more points somewhere. We want to come over here to get double tap. So go ahead and grab bullseye into true aim. We're going to come down here. Critical strike damage isn't nearly as good as critical strike chance, so I think these are points that can be skipped. We're going to grab light ammo for better trick shot, and then we're going to grab, I would say explosive ricochet for AoE, because getting that explosive shot I think is going to be better than kill shot being used at any point. Of course, you grab true shot, which I have extended thoughts on. Those will be done later. Calling the shots, and you're going to grab probably unerring vision, although Eagle Talon's true focus could potentially be useful, but getting that extra crit, stacking up 10, basically 59 crit, you're getting 590 crit by the end of your true shot. It's pretty good stat value. And then we're going to grab, let's see, we have 3 points left, so we're going to grab double tap, lone wolf, and lock and load. So this AoE tree I think is really good. Now if we go to single target side of things, again, we're going to grab all of this. We're going to grab that. Chimera shot we'll consider here in just a moment as a flex point. Aim shot critical strike chance increased. We want that. Careful aim was going to be good. Double tap will still be good. Lone wolf. Bursting shot to get Legacy of the Windrunners, which I think is going to be very good. This side of the tree doesn't change, by the way. Let's see. Death Blow I think is good for kill shot, since you're going to have 2 charges of it. Wish that this would have been like something different. And I still think Chimera shot needs to be switched places with bursting. Grab Wailing Arrow because it's really good. And then I would say for pure single target, you grab Serpent Stalker's Trickery. For cleave, I would probably say just grab this because you can use kill shot at any time. We have 6 points left to spend in this tree, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Let's see, we're going to grab Steady Focus because we needed to unlock True Shot into calling the shots. Actually, and then we grab Unerring Vision. So we actually skip Death Blow altogether. So I think this is probably the build for single target. You waste a point in bursting shot. I think Chimera shot switching places, again, as I've said 3 or 4 times, is going to be your best bet. Just because it makes all of this better. I wish there was a better way to like skip Deadeye and quick load to get down into Legacy of the Windrunners. I'd like to see maybe Deadeye just removed from the tree completely. Quick shot come here and skip, connect with double tap, or have double tap connect with like Lone Wolf and Legacy of the Windrunners and just make Deadeye like gone, and you just connect this way, or you connect this way with Deadeye out of the middle. I think that kind of removes a point from the tree, but I think it streamlines the tree a lot better, so that you have the options of taking things like Lock and Load or Serpent Stalker's Trickery, or even something like Heavy Ammo or Salvo, or not Salvo, but where is it? I was like, you come back and get Rapid Fire because it's going to be a focus generator. Like, I think that's going to be the case. So just wanted to do kind of a quick-ish video on the changes that we've seen to each of these trees. I'm not a fan of the Guardian tree changes. I think that while you could still get 2 capstone talents, it's a little bit more difficult of a choice, and you lose out on some, like the build I think is coming much more one note. Like it's the build that we talked about here. Let me open. Why is it being that way? Dragonflight talents, calculator, Guardian. So yeah, like this build here is much more universal. You choose Bristling Fur for single target. Solo the Forest for single target. Dream of Scenarios isn't going to be really all that good. What's my last point? Oh, that's right. It's kind of a flex one. So this one just feels like it's much more like universal. Like maybe you swap some points into Layered Main. you know, you go a point there just to get a 10% chance for that versus Stampeding Roar cooldown. Like, this build feels much more universal. Maybe 1 or 2 points get switched around, but for the most part, like, this tree feels like it's fire and forget, whereas in the other tree, you could lean really heavily into Thrash or lean really heavily into like Maul and Legacy of the Sleeper or Rage of the Sleeper and stuff like that. Felt like it had a lot more choice. So I'm not a fan of the Guardian tree in this current incarnation. Marksmanship Tree is very close to being really good. The biggest thing is Bursting Shot being where it's at is just bad. It is just, it's like with High Explosive Trap being kind of mandatory in the Hunter tree, Bursting Shot becomes very irrelevant. So I think giving it applications by switching it with Chimera Shot and giving Hunters like something on 2 targets, I think is a much better overall use, where PvPers could still go grab Bursting Shot into Quick Load if that's what they want to do, whereas PvEers can avoid getting useless talent and still get Chimera Shot. And I'd probably remove Deadeye or rework it, because 2 charges of Kill Shot like is not fantastic. Like, make it do, like, you know, over here you have critical damage is increased. Maybe this increases the, like, instead of doing 2 charges, maybe you give Kill Shot like an extra 10% crit chance with Deadeye. I think that's probably a much better use of the talent point than what we have now. So anyways, guys, that's the update video on the Guardian and Marksmanship Hunter trees. I'll be working on some Death Knight trees here. The Death Knight class tree got completely reworked, so we'll be looking at that, and we'll be doing update videos as we go on these different specs as we go. And for me and personally, I'm greatly anticipating these 2 trees right here, Monk and Paladin, because I'm considering Monk, Druid, and Paladin as my 3 potential main characters for Dragonflight. So until the next video, I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you all keep gaming. Hope you're having fun, and I will see you all in the next video.